Hello, everybody. I just want to make sure that worked. So I'm trying some new stuff here. Let me just make sure that it's working. Can you guys hear me okay? Relaxing Wells here and says that they love my cap. Thank you. Oh, that's going to be annoying, huh? Let me move the comments. Let me try here. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay, hello everybody. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Heather, your YouTube coach, and every Friday I go live here at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I missed last week because I was feeling super under the weather. I actually had to go to urgent care. I had a fever of 104. It was insane, but I'm fine. I didn't have COVID. It was something else. You can check my Instagram stories if you want the fun details about that, but I'm feeling much better. Sorry I had to cancel last minute, but literally it was like Friday at 4 a.m. I was like shivering uncontrollably and had to go to urgent care. So it was not fun, but I am feeling so much better. Not quite at 100% yet, but I just, I was good enough to do a live stream. So I'm here, and as you can see, I'm trying some new things. So I'd love your feedback. Let me know if anything isn't working. Hopefully it's all good. So for today's stream, what I wanted to talk about is making money on YouTube. That's what I want to talk about. But the way that I want to approach it, I think is going to be different, hopefully, from maybe what's already out there. Because here's the thing. I don't want to talk about, okay, let me back up. I love YouTube, okay? This is my passion. I love this platform. I love how it's changed my life, how it's made an impact on me. If you guys don't know this, but I will tell you, I started my vlog channel, which is a different channel from this. You can check it out at Heather Just Create. But my vlog channel I started in 2016 to document my journey as a complete newbie entrepreneur. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I had quit my job in marketing, and I decided I would document that journey of like trying to start my business on YouTube because vlogging was like super big at the time. And long story short, I met my husband on YouTube. I've met awesome friends, colleagues. I've learned everything about entrepreneurship and content creation and basically unlocking a potential in myself that I didn't even realize I had all through this platform. So I can go on and on about how passionate I am about YouTube, which is why I'm super passionate about helping other people navigate the platform and learn how they can create their own content so that they can also make their own impact with their audience. So that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm a YouTube coach, because I love empowering people. I try to see myself as the coach that I needed when I was first starting, because it's hard. It's hard to do this. It's not impossible. It's not complicated. It is very, very straightforward, but it's still hard, right? The thing is, with YouTube, the tricky part is, I think the success of it has been glamorized, and we hear about, I think, just not by our choice. There's a vision and a definition of YouTube success that has been painted for us by these really, really big YouTubers. And I don't think that the majority of us want to attain that same thing. And that's what I kind of want to talk to you guys about today. Because if you want to make money on YouTube, like good, substantial money, you don't need a silver play button. You don't need a gold play button. Like, you don't. I know that for a fact because I'm doing this and I'm good. My husband's doing this and he still has a full-time job. Like, he's making a full-time income with YouTube being a side hustle, So he's basically getting double streams of income because of YouTube. So you don't need that. If you want that, great. There are other YouTube coaches who can help you do that. But for me, what I specialize in is helping you share your story sustainably. Okay, where you're building a brand that you can monetize in a variety of ways, but we're not trying to be, of course we always want to grow, but right out the gate, I'm not trying to be a million, get 1 million subscribers overnight. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because a lot of videos about making money on YouTube have to do with how do we get more views? How do we get more subscribers? Like, how do we grow? Here's the thing. I think that if you approach it that way, you're really putting the cart in front of the horse, because what are you even offering? Like, why do you need more subscribers, right? Who are these subscribers that you need? Because if you don't answer these initial questions, then it doesn't matter if you're going to have a bunch of subscribers that are not like connected with you. Like, none of it works if you're not, if you don't do it logically and in a certain order. Okay. So, that's just to recap. Let me check in with the comments. Megan likes the overlay. Thank you. I'm proud of it. I'm like excited about it. Let's see. Philip is here. Hello. Greg. Hey, Heather. Love your how-to videos. Thank you. I'm so glad. Invest with Fire's here. What's up? And Dominic, I still have to get back to you. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten. But anyways, I'm glad you're here. So let's jump into it. So first of all, doing YouTube, if you really want to do this in terms of like, I want to make money doing YouTube, you want it to be a legitimate source of income, you can do that. Also, if you don't want YouTube to be like a moneymaker, like you want to use it as a place for creative expression, you can do that too. I definitely want to preface this entire conversation with emphasizing that your YouTube channel does not, like, you don't need to go into YouTube with a goal of monetization for it to be a legitimate, impactful channel. Period. Okay? But if you know eventually that you love YouTube, you want to be part of this, you want to, create content that makes an impact, you want to put yourself out there, if you have that feeling to want to do that, going into this, knowing that that's your goal, is going to make everything a lot more straightforward in terms of strategy, in terms of planning, in terms of approach, okay? There are plenty of people who go into YouTube as a way to creatively express themselves, or as a hobby, or as whatever. And then eventually it picks up and they start to monetize, and that's fine. You can do it that way as well. But here's the thing, okay? Here is the one thing that I want you guys to take from this entire conversation is, if you want YouTube to be a substantial source of income, you need to approach it like a business. Straight up, okay? Now, what do I mean? Okay. First of all, no one is, like, anyone can start a business. You can start a business about anything. I had a business before this, actually years ago, where I helped write resumes for people. So, I'm a pretty good writer, and I knew how to use, tech to make resumes look awesome instead of these like ugly resumes that are like template and stuff. So I would consult with people who wanted a resume written for them. And this was like 2008 when everyone was losing their job. And I would just like make resumes for them. That was a business, right? You can walk dogs. That could be a business. You can have a restaurant. That could be a business. There's, obviously we know this. Commerce, a business, is a thing and has been a thing since the beginning of time. Just because you want to start a business does not mean that you want to be Elon Musk. It does not mean that you want to create the next Amazon, right? In the same fashion, just because you want to start a YouTube channel does not mean that you want to be the next PewDiePie. Like, that's not the only path to success. There are plenty of mom and pop shops. There are plenty of, icons in your community that specialize in like fancy bagels or like, I don't know, stationery paper or something like that. Like, there's a lot of boutique shops, mom and pop shops, independent shops. Like, every business has its own personality and something different that it offers, right? Now, when you go into making money on YouTube with your first question being, how do I get more subscribers? What you're asking is, how do I get more customers for my business? The thing is, if you don't know what the heck you're selling, what your business even is, what your storefront looks like, what your store looks like, if you have nothing, then like, why would anyone come to you, right? So imagine, okay, let's paint this picture. YouTube is a mall, okay, like a shopping mall. There's a Barnes and Noble, there's fast food restaurants, there's, you know, all your food stores, you've got your department stores, you've got shoes, we've got GameStop, whatever, right? And each one of these stores is a YouTube channel, right? The entire mall is YouTube. Now, there are plenty of us that know exactly what we want to get when we go to the mall. I need to buy a dress for a wedding that I'm going to go attend. So I'm going to go to the mall and I'm going to narrow it down to like 4 stores that I'm going to peruse through, whatever, right? Because I know these stores will probably have what I'm looking for. But there are plenty of times where I go to the mall because I'm bored. Like, I'm just bored. So I'm going to walk around. This is obviously pre-COVID, but I'm going to walk around and just literally peek through every store and just see what's up, figure it out as I go, right? If you're a new YouTube channel, this is where your channel, there are plenty of people who are looking for new stuff, right? New information, new offerings, and they're just going to peruse around on YouTube, right? Or in the mall, and they're going to stumble upon your channel. They're going to stumble upon your store. Answer these questions. What is your store called? What does your storefront look like? Why would I go in there? Who would want to go in there? And here's a more important question. Would I come back to your store? And why? Like, why would I go back there? Right? What are you known for? Just like, okay, I know that I need to go to XYZ store to buy a dress for a wedding. What is the occasion for your channel? Like, I need to think about the same thing. I can go to this channel or this store because I know that I can learn about food or clothes or whatever, right? Like, whenever I need help with a certain thing, your channel should be the one to come to mind. And the only way that it's going to do that is if you are very specific about what you offer and who you offer it to. If you don't answer any of these questions, why would I go to your store? Like, why would anyone, regardless of whatever advertising you're doing or whatever, like, imagine, the mall's like, okay, we're going to give you free advertising. Like, everyone can get a free sign to put in front of their store. What would your store say? Like, 50% off for what? What is it that you sell, right? And I think this is where things get complicated because a lot of people go into YouTube just wanting to figure it out. Like, you still don't know, right? You still don't know exactly what you're building or, the kind of content that you're creating or why you're even creating it. And that's totally fine. Like, that was me. I figured it out as I go or as I went. But also, you have to also accept the fact that if you are not sure about what you are creating, then no one else is either. Just straight up, right? It's the same thing. Like, if I'm walking through the mall, I walk by your store and you've got cats, you've got food, you've got yoga, and you've got commentary, and you've got music, and you've got art. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, you're not memorable. Like, you're going to be just like every other store that's also unmemorable. It's just like the variety store, you know what I mean? And that is really hard to scale, to grow, compared to like, oh, this store, that's my favorite store. That's my favorite store because I know that they dig my style, or I jive with that community or those people, or they have exactly what I need for this thing that I'm working on, like blah, 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 right? So you can see that there's a difference. If you go into YouTube and you're like, you know what, I'm not sure, I'm just going to figure it out as I go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you also have to accept that, like, the more unclear that you are, then even more so people who have no idea who you are, right? It's like really hard to explain what you do. It's going to be hard for someone else to explain what you do if you also cannot explain it. Right? So, all that to say, If you want to make money on YouTube, ask yourself these 3 questions. I call it the 3 questions because I think like everyone should know these 3 questions, right? What is your channel about? Who is your channel for? And why should they subscribe? So on the business front, right? If you're thinking about the shopping mall, what is your business? Who are your customers and why would they come back? It's the same thing, right? So what is your channel about? Who is your channel for and why should they subscribe? I totally get if you're still figuring it out. If you're still figuring it out, give yourself some grace and figure it out. Like you are your own boss, like YouTube obviously isn't going to get mad if you can't figure it out. Like the only person who is going to get mad at you is your boss, and your boss is you. That's kind of the beauty about YouTube is like the beauty of YouTube is like you don't got to get a permit, you don't have to get a business license, you don't have to like, do all these crazy things that other businesses have to do, like pay rent and stuff. Like that's like the beauty of being an independent content creator. But you also have to be super clear about the thing that you offer. So I'm going to pause here so I can check in with the comments. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Perpetual Motion is here. I'm retired and would like a side income from YouTube. Okay, cool. Yeah, this can totally be a place where it can be a very substantial income or side income. Relax well. Why are my videos not getting views and recommended by YouTube? Okay, I'll go into that a little bit. Dr. Severin Bryan is here. Awesome. Zen Canuck ASMR. This is helpful. Thank you. That's my problem, trying to figure out what's my niche. Louisa, hi. And Philip. It was almost a year on YouTube that I was all over the place before I found my niche. That's when it all started to fall into place. Feels like I wasted a year, but I learned a lot. There we go. Yeah, totally. I feel you too. I mean, it took me longer than that. I'm still figuring it out on my vlog channel. But here's the thing, like, I approach this channel differently. My second channel, my vlog channel, that is like, it's not like a store in the mall. It's more of like the park. Like, I create the content. I've built the thing. If you want to stumble on in and peruse for your enjoyment, you can. But I'm not actively trying to push people there. It's like a very, like that's a, but knowing that, like going to it, knowing that, I have very low expectations. I'm not trying to like turn that into a huge moneymaker or anything. But here it's different, right? Here I'm very clear. Here it's very easy for me to come up with 20 ideas and ask myself, okay, which of these ideas bring my vision to life? Because obviously, like I can make videos about anything, but it has to fit the brand. It has to fit the overall picture that I'm trying to paint. It's like, think of every single one of your video ideas as a product that you can sell in your store at the mall, right? And if you're a store about like, I don't know, hair products, like why the heck would you sell Pokemon cards, right? Like it's not in line with your vision. It's not in line with like the thing that you're trying to build, stuff like that, right? So yeah, like I said, putting the question of like, how do I get more views and how do I get more subscribers before you even answered these questions, it is like, so, like if you were to ask me, oh, how do I promote my business? Okay, great. Let's talk about your customers. Where do they hang out? What do they need? Like what's cool about today's economy is like you have so much free access to the people that you're trying to reach. You don't have to pay for like advertising, which is so cool, versus back in the day, you literally had to, pay to get your content in front of people, but not anymore. And if anything, people will come to you as long as you have the content, as long as it's very clear that, what you offer and why I should keep coming back. So I think that's the part that really people get stuck on is, especially if you're still just building your channel, you have to be able to answer the third question, which is like, why should someone return to your store? Why should someone watch another video? What's the big picture? why does this matter? You know, and obviously that's going to be different for everyone, for all of us. Like, I can't tell you what your niche is. It'd be like me telling you what to make a business about. Like, you know, what's your passion? What are you passionate about? What comes easy to you? You know, all of these things. And again, if you need to give yourself some time to figure that out and challenge yourself creatively, totally do that. I just finished a 31-day upload challenge on my vlog channel, and that really helped me get clear with like, okay, this is what I want to create more content about, and this is the style I want to do it in, and this is the format I want to use, and here's the tech that I want to use. Like, it was, but I expected no growth. Like, I expected no growth from that 31-day upload challenge. It was more personal. Like, it was more for me in terms of like figuring out my purpose. What's my mission? What do I want to accomplish with this channel? Like, why am I doing this? Because YouTube is hard. Like, it's the same with building a business. There's no person, like, anybody could build a business. Anybody. Kids have done it. Really, you know, old people have done it. Like, people of all kinds, everything. Like, you don't need a degree. You don't need anything special. Anybody could just start a business with absolutely anything. And if anything, it's easier than ever to start a business. The same goes for YouTube. You have everything you need. You have your phone, which is like the, you know, better cameras than what people had 10 years ago. You know, there's so many free tools that you can use to help promote your channel, all these things. And there's no prerequisite. The barrier to entry is non-existent. Like, anybody can do it, but that doesn't, you know, we're not all trying to be the Elon Musk of business, but there definitely does take some kind of dedication, strategy, research, and perseverance to do it. Like, anybody can start a business, but not every business is going to be successful. And then along that line, it's like, well, what does success mean to you? If you are super passionate about like Filipino food cuisine and you want to share that with people, then that's your passion. Like, you go into it like, I'm going to make Filipino food so everybody can try all the food that I ate while I was growing up, or something like that, right? And then the rest will come. If you make good food, you have good experience, like, people are going to go there. It's like, you know, it's not like rocket science to figure out how to get customers in through the door. Just like it's not rocket science to figure out how to get subscribers to your channel. But the thing that is really going to drive traffic and subscribers and all of that is understanding how you are different. How is your store different from every other store in the mall? You know, like, I think the cool thing about YouTube is that it's so diverse. There's, you know, literally billions of people on YouTube, and that presents an opportunity of allowing viewers to find exactly what they're looking for. Like, before, when there were fewer channels, you could argue, yeah, there was less competition, it was less saturated. Now it's like insanely crowded, but also, you know, whereas there was only one gamer, like one gaming channel, now you have you've got channels that do board games, you've got channels that do first person shooters, you've got channels that do old school Nintendo, you've got channels that do PlayStation and Xbox and all that. Like, you could just keep zeroing it in to the specific thing that you want to find, right? Which means, to me, like, if you want to stand out, you just really have to figure out what is different about your channel. What is your channel about? Who's your channel for? And why should they subscribe? And, like, you know, like I said, I know this is the advice that no one wants to hear, but it can't be a cookie cutter answer, because then if it worked for everybody, then all our channels would look the same. You know what I mean? And there would be no, like, that's obviously not how it works, right? Like, all of our channels are different, and we want to lean into that, and no one can tell you what to make your content about. In terms of strategy and, like, optimizing your content, like doing channel reviews, I'm happy to do that. Working on your thumbnails, like going into your analytics, there's those stuff that we can work on. But the foundation of it all, the message, the purpose, you know, the overall theme of your channel, that's all a self-discovery process. And I'll tell you right now, there's definitely like trends, but just because something isn't trending doesn't mean that content is impossible on YouTube. Like there's literally channels about potatoes growing in the ground. Like there's videos on anything, anything and everything. So it's just about like, you know, taking some time to brainstorm and think about, okay, if you know that YouTube is about building a brand, right? Making enough content that you can't be ignored, that it's very easy to look at all of your content, the library of content that you've created, and it's very easy for someone to be like, oh, wow, this is what this channel is about. This is why I should subscribe. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, well, I'll check in with the comments. I can't remember what I was saying. Let's see. Raise My Plate is here. Love this. Thanks. Big Fish Gaming is here. Good vibes. Hi, Heather. 2 weeks ago, I had 203. Now I have 363. That's amazing. Wow. I'm trying to make my brand by uploading similar thumbnails. I also stopped asking people sub, but to leave a like. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing with subs. Tip for you guys. Don't just ask anybody to subscribe, because if somebody subscribes to your channel and doesn't watch your videos, that's a ding. Like, that's not good, right? That tells YouTube, okay, we thought this type of person liked this content, but clearly they don't actually watch the content. So now we're just more confused, right? So if you're the most important metric on YouTube is watch time, the number of minutes that people spend watching your content. They could be subscribers, they could be non-subscribers. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing is how much time are people spending watching your channel? How much time are people spending in your store? That's what it is. Like, who cares if these people are on, you know, the frequent, you know, the loyalty program of your store or whatever? How many times are they coming in? And how long are they spending in your store? That's the important thing. And if you ask just anybody to sign up for your loyalty program and they never come in, like, that's annoying, right? Like, that's frustrating. So the more important thing is to just create good content and create good content for either a specific purpose, a specific, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like a theme that a group of people can unify under, right? Like, they have this thing in common where you bring them together. You're creating the platform that brings these people together, like, that, you know, they have something in common. So don't worry about the subs will come. Let's see. Thanks for all the advice. Awesome. Louisa, any recommendations on how to make a gaming channel? No, just make one. Make one and start there. And then also check out Big Fish Gaming. Let's see. James, potatoes growing on the ground. Where do I subscribe? I stopped asking to sub. I asked them to watch another video. Yes, exactly. That to me is the best call to action that you can do on your channel. If we know that the single most important number that matters on YouTube is the number of minutes that people spend watching your channel. It's kind of like, okay, going back to the mall analogy, you have your store, right, in the mall, and you see someone walking out. Like, if they're about to walk out, this is what you do. You basically go up to that person and you say, hey, I saw you checking out this display. Did you know that I have another display over here that's kind of related to that thing? You might want to go see it over here. And you keep them in the store. You go, whoop, right? They're about to walk out and you're like, oh, I have a feeling you're going to like this, right? If you sell hand soaps or something and you see someone in the floral, you know, section, then maybe they're going to like your other floral section or your succulent section. I don't know. You guys get it, right? So, like, just make sure that as you're creating your content, developing your content, the tricky part is I do think that it's more likely for the people to find you, like the people that really want to find you, because YouTube is so diverse, you can be diverse, right? Like you can be yourself. That's the amazing thing about YouTube. But I do think it takes more strategy. I think it takes more thought. And before it was like no one was doing gaming, so PewDiePie can just do whatever and figure it out as he goes because he's the only gaming channel. But that's not how it is anymore. Every channel has already been created. Every single one, like all of our niches are full. There's some that are still empty. And if you have a relatively empty one, I suggest you definitely create more content so you can be that pioneer there. But I just think that for everyone it does take some planning and some strategy if you really want to see success, right? So like just like, okay, of course you can start a business and figure it out as you go. I think just having a plan, right? Like having a plan in terms of here are the goals that I want to reach in the first 6 months, first year, first 3 years. Here's my passion. Here's my purpose. Here's what, you're essentially a business, or your YouTube channel in this case has its own identity, right? Like you are bringing an entity to life, and every single product, or in this case, every piece of content or every video that you create brings that identity to life. So if you don't know what that identity is to start with, of course, you're going to be making content about whatever, and it's going to be really hard for someone to gravitate towards that because the message isn't clear. And again, like I know this is the hard part. It's the hard part, right? But I don't think that there's any like you need this camera and you need a crazy personality and you need to have a crazy lavish lifestyle in order to see success. Like, no, most people start with like what they got, their phone. You start with what you got, and that doesn't mean that you are at any kind of disadvantage, like at all. We see it all the time. There's YouTube channels that start in 2020 and they're huge, right? Like, it's not like these people are uniquely equipped to succeed. It's just that they cracked the code about what they were doing faster, right? And that's, like there's no point in thinking like you are not good enough to do this. I feel like that's just like really not productive for you being creative, for you building an identity, for you building your brand. I think like my best advice that I would give there, if you're not sure about your niche or your approach or your content or like what makes you different, is to, I know this is cheesy, but like literally think about the content that you have the most fun making. Because if it's fun for you, you are your own person, you are unique, you're different from everyone else. And if you find it fun, then that means your personality with your experience and your perspective finds this very specific thing fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that will automatically kind of make it different. But you have to lean into it. It has to be more than like, I'm just gonna make a video about a day in my life. What do you mean? Like, how's that any different from like any other channel? It has to be a little more. And the other thing I would say is, if you think that, I think another thing that people don't realize is the thing that might seem ordinary to you or normal is actually super different to other people. It's just so normal to you that you don't think about it, right? Like it's second nature to you. Let's see. Okay, so I have ADHD. I talk about that all the time. But like, while others might see it as like, oh, I don't want to tell people about that or whatever, I see it as like, this is just who I am. And I can make a whole channel about what it's like to have ADHD and how I cope with it, manage with it, build a business with it, how I still organize my time, how I struggle when I have low points. There's a whole channel right there, right? And it might seem boring or, ordinary, or like, why would anyone want to watch that? But trust me, if you want to make that content, then someone wants to watch it. But it's just a matter of like leaning into the specific story about it. Like, what makes your channel, you want to talk about gaming, what makes your, like, what are you bringing to the table? What conversation are you going to add to the table that makes it different from everybody else's? So like, even with this video, I wanted to make this video. I knew I wanted to make a video about making money on YouTube. But I didn't want to make it the way that I think everyone else does, right? Like, oh, how do you make money? Here's all the strategies. Like, how do you get more views and subscribers and blah, 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 blah. I was like, that content was already there. So I don't want to replace it. But I'm going to just take a different approach in terms of, I think people can see it this way, right? Like, anybody could start a business. Anybody could start a YouTube channel. But when you start a business, you don't just be like, hey, we're just going to figure it out as we go. Because if you're figuring it out, then of course everyone else is figuring it out too, right? Now, if you happen to experiment and you hit something and something just clicks, then of course, like, now you can dial in on that and stuff like that. But that epiphany doesn't happen unless you're trying stuff. Like, you have to try. Like, the more that you try, the more it's you kind of chipping away at like marble, right? And you're like sculpting this thing and bringing it to life. But you have to try things, otherwise you won't know whether it works for you or not, right? I'm gonna check in with the comments. Okay, let's see. Philip says, I agree. It felt like I was begging them to sub. If they want to, it's good content, they will. Yes. Perpetual Motion says there's nothing new out there. I wouldn't say that there's nothing new out there. And I don't think people are looking for new, I don't like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need the newest content or like something that's never been done. It's more of like, has someone else like me done this? That's more what I'm looking for. Okay, let's see. Greg, how can you put a link to watch another video in your video? Do you have a how-to on this? I think I do. It's called an end screen. I'm pretty sure I've made this video, so you could just search my channel for it. But if not, just search on YouTube. Basically, when you upload your video to YouTube, you can add an end screen, and then you can add like these interactive buttons on YouTube. And then you can, what I would definitely recommend doing is like, when you make a video, I always, before I even turn the camera on, okay, as I'm scripting my video, I always, at the bottom of my script, I say, where am I going to direct people next? Because our goal is not for people to just watch one video and then subscribe and then leave. Like, that's not a win, right? The win is watch that video and then watch another video and then another video, where for them, it's going to be very automatic and natural for them to want to subscribe. Like, you don't even have to say anything, right? But that like journey only works if the things are connected, right? So going back to the mall example, right? If someone's in your store and like you sell spices, right? Like food spices or something. Maybe person who's perusing the rack of spices would also be interested in your sauces, because it's kind of related, right? It's a thing that enhances the flavor of food or complements or whatever, right? So like when they're done watching this video, you're just going to naturally lead them to the thing that they're probably going to be interested in. Don't worry about subscribing, because it's going to be a natural thing if they like your content. Like, everyone knows how to subscribe, Okay. I'm pretty boring. I think most people, I find myself boring. Like, everyone can say they're boring. Like, of course. But, like, I don't think you're boring. Like, I think everyone has a sense of curiosity, right? Like, people want to know how other people do things. So even if something is boring or normal or ordinary to you, to in someone else's shoes, they might find it fascinating, right? It's just, but you don't even give them the opportunity to feel that because you're not creating the content. I think that's where people get stuck. Okay, Mrs. P. Tarleton. Thank you. You reviewed my channel a few months ago and gave me valuable information. I still need to act on some of the advice. I was going to say, your channel sounds familiar. Let's see. Greg found it. Great. Philip. I remember I did my first 5 videos not knowing I had autofocus on my camera. I just thought my camera was not good enough. We learn and move on. Yes. My first YouTube videos are truly awful. I didn't know how to film. I am still working on it. Yeah, right? So I've talked about this before, but like, I think it's unfair to expect, or maybe unrealistic is a better word, to expect an audience if we are not yet a master of our craft. Do you know what I mean? Like, the advantage of people who start businesses is they probably, like, I started a resume business because I was already a good writer. I had been writing for years. You know, it wasn't like I just started from nothing. Someone who wants to open up a bakery has already baked cakes in their lifetime, right? Like, you've already mastered the craft that you're going to sell. I guess the advantage or the disadvantage for YouTube is, like, a lot of us have never made videos before. Like, I certainly did not. I made like a few videos like for school projects and stuff like that, but you know, they weren't uploaded to YouTube or anything. So there is definitely going to be a learning curve in terms of like, how do we even communicate through this new medium? You have to figure out the platform. You have to learn all of these optimization techniques and all of that. And that takes time, right? But also give yourself some grace. Like, you just have to learn it. And the only way to learn it is to do it, right? But also, like, just, you can't go into it thinking, okay, while I'm learning how to do this, I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers overnight. Like, you know what I mean? We need to, like, put in the reps. You just got to put in the reps. That doesn't mean you suck. That doesn't mean you're going to fail. It just means you got to put in the reps. That's all it is. And then once you put in the reps, you're going to get better and better and better and more clear and more sure and more confident, right? You're going to get more confident. And whatever videos you make 50 videos from now are going to be so much better than the ones that you make now. And it's not because, you know, literally the thing that you're missing is experience. That's it. You just have to create. Okay. Let's see. Philip, you will get there. It's great to watch my older videos to see the progress I have made. Yes. Like, I love having my old videos on my channel. It's crazy because personally, I look at my old videos and I'm like, God, I was so determined and I had like a fraction of what I had. Like, now I have a dedicated studio. I have a purple wall. I have all this equipment. I have a husband that's like super into tech and video and audio and all this. And before, it was me in my apartment by myself. Like, I had nothing. I had nothing. Like, I had none of this. I didn't even have the experience that I have. And I still was like, okay, we're going to figure this out. So, totally possible. Let's see. Mrs. P. Tarleton. Very true. I was so stiff in the beginning of my videos. Now I'm more relaxed on camera. It's definitely a muscle. Like, I mean, I think you guys know that. I watched this quirky girl when she first started her channel, and in less than a year is pushing 400k subs and tons of views. The quirky creator is shocked and talks about it on her channel, how she wonders why so many are watching her content. I definitely think that there is, you know, I think that there's some content that is almost like built for YouTube. That's just like, you know, that's going to be a good YouTube video or a good YouTube channel. The thing is, like, even for me, you know, like, my content, I don't think that about my content. Like, I don't think I'm fascinating or anything, but it's like, it's still helping people, right? It's still doing the thing that I want to do. And here's the thing, like, when it comes to wanting to make money on YouTube, if you want to make money on YouTube, you have to love YouTube and you have to love the thing that you are creating content about, to the point that you are willing to create content about the thing that you love, even if no one is watching, right? Like, a baker is going to bake cakes because they love it. It just so happens that now they're going to monetize, right? Someone who is a writer will write books or whatever. You guys get the point, right? So if you're thinking, it's like you have to love making videos, because if you're a better writer, then go write blogs, yo. Like, that's 1,000 times easier. You have to love making videos. And loving making videos does not mean it has to be fun all the time. Like, heck yeah, this thing is stressful. It's hard. It's creative energy. Like, it's hard, right? Like, to create something from nothing, 100%. I have, what is it called? Blank canvas syndrome is what I call it, right? But in our case, it's a blank timeline, blank memory card. Like, I freeze up and I'm like, I know what video I want to make. I have no idea how to make it. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I still struggle with that. I've made like 600 videos at this point. I still struggle with it. So it's not a thing that's like, oh, I still don't know, or, I'm a newbie or whatever. I think for some of us, that fear is always going to be there, right? I just learned to accept it. I learned how to manage it so that it doesn't hold me back, right? It's like, okay, that's just normal nerves, and I know how to deal with it. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Hi, can you add a link in an old video already on YouTube? 100% yes. And actually, I do that all the time. So I have a new webinar where I outline 5 steps to optimize your YouTube channel. And I replaced all the links in my videos, like even from videos from years ago, to include that link, because some of my videos from 4 years ago are still being watched. So you could you just go and edit the video description. Let's see. Part of the fun is to see how far you come. In your kitchen, yes. Cringe. So you've known me for that long. Let's see. My first few videos recorded by my phone, and the charging cable was hanging around and the camera was shaking. It was bad. We all have to go through that. No worries. I mean, I think we've all had the experience where we thought we were recording and then it turns out we didn't. And you have to re-record the whole thing. Ugh, it sucks. Greg, thank you for sharing all this. No magic. Just figure out your unique selling proposition. What makes you different, and why should I watch you? Good stuff. Yeah, I think that's the important thing to remember, is like, there's no magic. Like, maybe that pops a bubble a little bit, but it's the same as building a business. Like, it's not like there are people who are just naturally going to be better at it than others. Like, yeah, of course there's people who are going to be more savvy, there's people who are going to be more talented, but that doesn't mean that you're incapable of also building a business. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with YouTube. Of course there are people who have crazy personalities. Like, everyone gravitates to them. I don't consider myself that type of person. Like, I don't consider myself funny or, particularly charismatic or anything. Like, I just am really passionate about what I do. And I try to make that part shine on camera. You know what I mean? And I think that's like, lean into what works for you. If you feel like, if you're known kind of in your circle as a funny person, then lean into that, My husband, Tom, who I think is the funniest person in the world, but he loves telling jokes. And literally, I don't think he can go 3 minutes in his YouTube videos without telling a joke. So he just leaned into it, which is very strange because now it's such a part of his videos. But before, he would never tell a joke in a tutorial video, which is funny because now it's like so natural. Anyway, the Quirky Creator is a weight loss channel. See, okay, so that's insane. So Mrs. P is talking about a weight loss channel that has recently taken off. And let me tell you about what niche is insanely saturated like crazy. It's weight loss. Like fitness and weight loss, that is a niche that, I mean, who doesn't have a fitness channel at this point, right? But that doesn't mean it's impossible to break through. It's still possible to break through. It's still possible to break through. Let's see. Thank you for sharing that it does not have to be fun all the time. Blank canvas and slump and inspiration has been a problem for me in the past week. I mean, I feel ya, okay? It's been it's been rough, dude. So, even with myself, it's, you know, I also struggle with motivation. I also struggle with, I think the tricky part with YouTube is that it's a creative business, right? So not only are we building a business at the end of the day, it's a creative endeavor where we have to start with a blank canvas every single time. That is hard. That you have to be in the right mindset. You have to have the inspiration. You have to have the vision. You have to be happy, you know, like you have to be in like the right mindset to create something from nothing. And that's why it's like super important to not burn yourself out, to, you know, take care of yourself where you feel good. You can motivate yourself. You can, remember what you're doing, you know, remembering your why, remembering what you're doing this for. Here's one tip that I would remind you guys, like start a folder of progress. So I literally have a folder in my Gmail called progress, where if anyone sent me a comment from YouTube, or, you know, they shot me an email about, you know, some way that I made a positive impact, I save all that. I save all of that. Even when I, you know, got invited to the YouTube partner program, I saved that email. When I sold my first thing, I saved that email. Any kind of positive message, like I save that, because it's very easy for me to just be like, why am I doing this? Like you know, maybe I don't want to do this. Or when I'm feeling extra discouraged, you know, you can always find data to support your self-talk. And if you are feeling discouraged that day, your lens, the way that you see the world, is like you're looking for evidence to prove, you know, to tell yourself that you suck or that you're not good enough to do this. But that's why I whip out the evidence that's like, nope, here's where I made an impact. Here's how this person found my channel valuable. Here's how this person is now, you know, is making all this content and is monetizing, has thousands of subscribers because of, you know, something that I helped with. Or, you know, here are comments from previous clients and customers and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I have a folder of stuff ready to show myself when I'm feeling really crappy or whatever, that it's like, no. This is just a mindset. It's a perspective thing. And if I'm not feeling it, then take a break. Go sit down and play video games. Like if you can't force it, you can't force it. I don't think you can force being creative. You know, that's hard. Anyway. After making 100 videos, I got so much better. Yes. Congrats on making 100 videos. That is quite the accomplishment. Dr. Seven Bryan says, I agree. I have the same level of enthusiasm for my content, whether someone is watching my lives with me or not. Exactly. I even edited my old video thumbnails. I've done that too. So that's good. Philip does it too. I am constantly updating my older thumbnails. I am so much better at Photoshop than I was 3 years ago. Yes, I'm like amazing at Canva than I was even like 6 months ago. Let's see. I like that for saving good things. Yes. I have a positive inspiration folder. I go to that folder when I need to get motivated again. Yes, definitely. I think it's very, very helpful to have a tangible thing. So this is actually my motivation notebook. It's not necessarily a journal, but when I'm feeling super motivated, I write in here so that when I start to doubt myself, I just read things that are very specifically written for me, by me. And it's like, Heather, snap out of it. You're just, you know, going through a phase or whatever, and that's fine. But you know you want to do this, like you're passionate about it, it lights you up, it makes you happy, blah blah blah. Like whatever it is for you, I think it's important to have something tangible, because otherwise we can just get lost in, I don't know, for me it's really easy for my brain to trick myself into negative thinking. Like it's so easy. Let me tell you who's the biggest doubter. Like if there's anyone who's going to stop me from doing this, it's me right here. Like no troll is going to tell. The trolls, if anything, just make me want to do it more. You know, I'm like, I'll show you how much I love this. Like I'll show you, right? But one little like negative thought by my own mind and it's, you know, everything grinds to a halt. Okay. Philip, it's a breath of fresh air or a proud moment knowing that we are moving in the right direction. Yes. Mrs. P, I see all the positive messages and milestones to help me push forward. Yes. I forgot to ask you guys at the start of the stream to share a win. So if you have a win that you want to share, that's definitely something I want to ask you every week. So if you're part of the community and you join the live stream every single Friday, definitely let's keep each other accountable and celebrate our progress and growth. So Big Fish Gaming earlier said that they made 100 videos. That's amazing. I was sick, so my win is the fact that I'm able to live stream at all today. And unfortunately, I did not make a video this week. This is like, I was so bummed because my goal was to make a video every Tuesday to publish a video on this channel, but I was sick and, you know, I could really beat myself up over that. Or I could be like, who's the boss? I'm the boss, and I say it's okay because I was sick. So I'm going to give myself some grace and just come back next Tuesday with an amazing video. Okay. Big Fish, I'm doing it too. I save and share all the positive stuff and a lot of motivation videos. Every time I feel down, I go check those positivity, then I feel refreshed. Yes. You'll see the world the way you want to. Yes. Greg, mine is a kudos folder. I love that. I'm going to make a folder now. I love the idea. Yes. Yes, totally. I mean, we are creative people. This is a creative endeavor, and your self-talk is going to be the thing that makes or breaks you, straight up. Like, and I think that it's not even like, you know, you can talk about all the like cheesy stuff about having a motivational folder. I think it's just practical. I think it's so practical because here's the thing. Self-doubt is part of the freaking territory. Like, if you are not doubting yourself right now, awesome. You probably will in a little bit. Like, it's just, I think it's every, you know, even the great creators and artists of our, like, in history have also doubted themselves and, you know, struggled with these same things. I think that's, if anything, that's just another sign of like, you're made to do this, right? You have the personality of a creative person. But the tricky part is being able to manage that doubt so it doesn't stop you, right? Or so that you're not wasting time. So like for me, I can tell when the way I'm feeling is going to last a couple of days. And so I just plan around that. I'm just like, okay, for the rest of the week, I'm not doing anything creative. Or when there's a part of the, you know, there's always a week where I feel super motivated. And so that's when I try to get ahead. I try to create my content or at least come up with my ideas. So it's easier for me to plan, you know, however you want to create your system so that it's all working for you. That's what we want to do. I think thinking of it that way is going to do so much more for your channel than these other, like, how do I get as many subscribers as fast as possible? Like, who cares, right? Like, the subscribers will come if you have a very clear message and a value to present to people. You know what I mean? Like, if you've built a store in the shopping mall and it's very clear what you sell, like, people are bound to find your channel, and if they like it, they'll stick around. We can always work on creating better content. We can always work on becoming better creators. That's a never-ending, you know, even 1,000 videos from now, we could still ask that question. So don't feel like you're so behind, because even when you're far ahead, you're still going to feel like you're behind because there's always a way to level up. Always, right? Okay. Invest with Fire says, I'm getting close to 400 subs, even though I learned that subs don't matter now. Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, that's pretty incredible, because I think it took Tom, my husband, a year to get to 100, and then another 6 months to get to 1,000. So YouTube is tricky. The first 100 subscribers are definitely the toughest, but then you'll see that the window between the next batch will start to shrink, especially if you're creating content regularly, because when you have 0, there's not even anyone there to watch the existing content that you're putting out, right? But once you have like 100 subscribers, then you have some people who are going to watch the new stuff. That will help YouTube promote it to people that look like them. And, YouTube will start working for you. The important part is like, you need to have inventory, right? You need to have stuff in the store to sell. You need to have products. It's the same thing with your YouTube channel. You cannot expect, I don't think it's realistic to expect that you're going to get 10,000 subscribers with 10 videos. Like, you have to you have to have products, right? You have to have a library of content. And I think it's not fair, honestly, for people to subscribe to your channel if they don't have a really clear idea of like how active you are and what kind of content you create. And the best way to showcase that and demonstrate that is through an existing library. So, that's why I say it all comes down to, you have to make YouTube videos because you love making YouTube videos, and you have to make YouTube videos about the thing that you love doing, so that you will make YouTube videos about the thing that you love doing, even when no one is watching. Because that's what's going to grow your channel. All right. I record short videos for future me all the time. I talk to myself some goals and things I need to do 1 week or a month later. Then I watch those videos by the time, see if I can achieve any of those. That's so funny. Let me see. So this is totally like random, and watch it if you want to, but I'm gonna share the video that I watch on my channel when I need like a butt kick. I especially watch it when people invite me to speak at things, because even though I'm a YouTube coach, I constantly question myself. Like, it's just me. It's just what I do. So I watched this video. It's a video I made about my journey and like why I'm doing this. So you guys can see an example of like, when I watch that video, I get amped about like what I'm doing, and it helps me remember my why. I think it's so important, like you said, Big Fish Gaming, to have something like that where you can remind yourself of like, okay, like it feels like things aren't working, but sometimes, like very often, you don't know that you're actually in an upward trend, because it's like that metaphor where like your nose is so close to the wall so you can't see the big mural that you've painted because you're so close to it, right? Like, you need to zoom out, but it's really hard to do that if you're just like constantly checking your number of subscribers and stuff. Okay. Your laid back vibe and backwards cap is what inspired me to actually start my channel. Your video of you sitting in your kitchen talking about starting your journey. How crazy. That's so funny. Wow. That's amazing. Let's see. Win. I made my first YouTube shorts a few days ago, and so far gained about 10 more subs. Oh, that's so great to hear. I haven't made a YouTube short yet, so I'm very fascinated by the data that people have been sharing with me. And 10 subscribers from your first one seems like a lot. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. I'm torn between making more vids consistently versus making high quality creative videos. Yeah. So if you're still growing, I think the thing to lean towards is to make more content than not. I will tell you for a fact that Mr. Beast, who's like one of the biggest YouTubers, would tell you to make one amazing video, which is why he has videos where he like buys a whole like car lot and stuff, and you know, he has the resources to do that. He could do like crazy extreme things. What he would tell you is probably to put a lot, like make the best video ever every single time, even if it takes you a lot of time and resources and energy to make that video. Because if you make a really, really, really good video that you know for a fact is going to work on YouTube, and you know for a fact that people are going to watch, then that video will work for you for years. It'll work for you for years. It'll be like almost a signature product in your store where people keep coming back and buying that same thing and getting it over and over and over again. The thing with that is that I feel like you already have to have really good YouTube skills. You have to be sure of the content that you're creating. You have to like have the instinct of like, okay, this video is going to be a winner on YouTube. And like, I just don't have that confidence in what I can create. So I would rather create smaller videos in scale and have more of them out there. So there's more chances of me to be discovered by the right people, even though it's a smaller amount of people. And then I can have like a searchable library of stuff, if that makes sense. So like, you could totally be the store that has the one signature product, but I would rather make like a lot more smaller ones, if that makes sense. I think when you get to a certain level, say 100,000, not even like 50,000, right? You could scale back on creating and focus more on quality. Because by then, if you're getting to 50,000, even 25,000, your channel is making money at a point where you can start reinvesting the money that you're making into your channel. So you can use the money that you're making from your channel to buy a new camera, to buy a new microphone, you know, to get some subscriptions. Like, you know, I'm using Ecamm to stream this thing, whatever, etc. Okay. Let's see. It is an inspiring video, great reminder. Okay, cool. So I think that's where I'm going to end it because I've been streaming for quite some time now. But thanks for being here, and I will make sure that next week we'll do some channel reviews. So if you want your channel reviewed, make sure to be here live, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, same place, Friday afternoon. And I'd love to see your channels. I'd love to see what you guys are working on. So here's your homework, right? Have a new video for me to watch. Have your channel banner very clear. Like, it should be very clear. This will be the test, right? If I can visit your channel, total stranger who's never seen your content, and I can answer the question, what is your channel about? Who's your channel for? And why should they subscribe? Then you're winning. You're on a roll. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of you putting your head in the sand and just crunching out the work. If I can't answer those 3 questions, then we have some stuff to work on. So, again, join me next Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for some channel reviews. If you have any questions, my social stuff is on the screen there, right here. So if you want to go follow me and hit me up, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to chat with you. So let's see. Thank you. Have a great day. Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. It was great hanging out, and good luck. Have an awesome week. Kill it. Make those videos, and I will catch you guys next time. All right? Okay. Bye.